Welcome to the 14th MINEX Kazakhstan Mining and Exploration Forum. Reflecting current priorities and trends in Kazakhstan, the forum is organized under the central theme, Sustainable Development of the Mining Industry for the Benefit of Society and Environment. The forum brings together over 450 attendees from Kazakhstan and 30 countries across Europe, North and Latin America, South Africa, Australia, China, India, Mongolia, Malaysia and New Zealand. This year's event is witnessing a record participation of foreign investors keen on exploring and developing precious metals, copper, coal, lithium and uranium, as well as rare and rare earth metal deposits. The forum's agenda features over 100 speaker presentations. The discussions will cover mining and metallurgical industry development, along with Kazakhstan's government initiatives aimed at boosting indigenous industries. Special emphasis will be placed on attracting investment for the state-initiated extensive geological exploration program to exploit new deposits of critical minerals. Additionally, the Digitech conference, integrated into the forum, will showcase Industry 4.0 solutions empowering mining firms to enhance performance and gain competitive edges. Over 50 Kazakhstani and international companies will be showcasing at the forum's trade show the cutting-edge technologies for mineral exploration, production and processing. During the forum, we are conducting an extensive survey to generate a 360-degree overview of Kazakhstan's mining and metals industry. The results will be published after the forum and distributed via social media, mining NGOs, media and other channels. Please take your time and help us to define the opportunities and challenges in the Kazakhstan mining industry. Each opinion matters. We wish you a successful and productive experience at MINEX Kazakhstan 2024. The forum is officially open.
MINEX konferencjasny nasz zasjasny bugün konferensiyasının takarıba öte manızda. Sodikâmın bugün sizlerle tanışacağız. Aymanına öte konuşmalı. Thank you for the invitation to speak today, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning and welcome to the opening session of the annual MINEX conference. I think this is the second year I've addressed you, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity to speak because for me personally, for our embassy, for the British government, the critical minerals sector and the sustainable development of that sector is an absolute priority. And I really want to thank Arthur and the organisers of MINEX for their consistent support for the mining and critical mineral sector in Kazakhstan. And I think we can all agree now that all the efforts made by so many years to put Kazakhstan back on the map in terms of mining exploration, investment, innovation, all those efforts are now really paying off. And that's why so many of you are here and why we have new British companies coming to Kazakhstan all the time. And as Arthur has mentioned, over the last few years, the Kazakh government has really taken so many critical steps to build the regulatory environment to attract foreign investment. Not just the 2018 mining code, but also mentioned in the Briscoe Committee, the adoption of new international standards on ESG, promoting ESG and transparency, digitisation of the pretty onerous bureaucracy, and so on. And I think that really is reflected in the figures now. Around 600 licences for exploration were issued between 1991 and 2018. But since 2018, and despite COVID, that number has exploded to many thousands of new licences issued. And altogether, an area, I understand, of around 196 square kilometres has now been opened for explorational development. And to put that into some kind of context, that's almost the size of my country, the UK, which is 240,000 kilometres. So that's a pretty extraordinary amount. And for the last 3 years that I've been living and working in Kazakhstan, I can say very confidently that we've seen increased activity, positive investor sentiment, new companies, both majors and juniors, and many of our countries, including of course my own, the UK, developing critical minerals memorandum of understanding with the Kazakh government and roadmaps with Kazakhstan. And this reflects the huge role that we think, that we hope, that we want Kazakhstan to play in building the next generation of 21st century mines, contributing to the resilience and the diversity of the global supply chain in those metals and minerals, which are absolutely essential for our planet's green transition. And we also want to build on Kazakhstan's really unique industrial and scientific heritage, which means that for a number of metals and processes, it is one of only 2 or 3 producers in the world. Now, among the positive developments that we see, the launch a few months ago of a new chamber of mines in Kazakhstan involving both domestic and international companies is a really important step. We believe this will strengthen the advocacy of the mining sector here and help facilitate better consultation with government. And this consultation process is now what's really needed to further improve bureaucracy and policy and prevent good work being undone. And the introduction last year of the revised mineral extraction tax was a good example of a policy which frankly would have benefited from better consultation. Kazakhstan now has amongst the highest gold and copper taxes in the world, okay, perhaps for domestic producers mining legacy assets, but obviously giving pause for thought to new investors considering investing billions in new assets. So it's our strong hope that the Kazakh government will engage really positively with this new chamber to discuss other government proposals which are doing the rounds at the moment, aimed at supporting the development of a value chain in domestic processing and manufacturing, but if applied prudently, risk hampering Kazakhstan's investment attractiveness. And these are ideas around requiring selling to domestic producers to discount and enforce processing of non-commercial trace metals. So these are proposals that need to be really carefully handled in very close consultation with industry. And this is because, of course, we know, and I'm stealing data from Tim Barry's recent presentation at the Chamber of Mines, the average mine takes at least 16 years to build globally, from exploration to discovery through to commissioning. And so keeping confidence in legislative predictability and keeping in line with best international practice is absolutely key to securing Kazakhstan's reputation as a great jurisdiction to do business. And again, London is a centre of mining finance, and we know that there is a really intense global competition for capital. The money available for investment in international mining in specialist funds has taken a real hit in recent years. And the volatility of commodity prices, of course, as ever, requires really strong nerves in this sector. But it's also important, of course, that Kazakhstan gets regulation right to make sure that its investors are building those world-class mines to world-class ESG standards, making sure that investment does bring development and wider sustainable societal benefits to its communities. Consulting closely with business is the right way to get that right balance. Now, the UK really wants to be a strong partner for Kazakhstan in this next stage of the mining journey, and the Critical Minerals Memorandum of Understanding signed last year by our Foreign Secretary and the roadmap signed in London with Minister Ghani in November is a sign of the progress we're making. We're really glad to see more British or British-ish companies here at MINEX for the first time, many of whom have established new offices in Almaty. And in my final minute, I'll just mention 3 areas that for us are our areas of focus in the embassy, where Kazakhstan has a real opportunity to make progress, and we think UK expertise is something important to offer, to really develop Kazakhstan's mining ecosystem and turn it into the global hub for mining investment all along the value chain, which we believe it can be. And the first thing, of course, is data. We are working on a project to bring British Geological Survey into a partnership with National Geological Survey here on improving digitisation and intelligent search for Kazakhstan's amazing data archive. But new data matters too, and speaking to a colleague from Sequent yesterday, I was given some really interesting figures. In Australia, the calculation is that for every £1 $1 of government money invested in new, pre-competitive data. On average, $5 of exploration expenditure by the private sector is generated, and over time, the resources developed are worth $100 to $150. So $1 of government money in data can generate $100 to $150 of value. And a similar study in Canada by EY on federal geoscience programs showed that over the last decade, spending on public geoscience has yielded economic benefits of at least $7.30 for every $1 spent. So open, transparent data is really the single most important thing that Kazakhstan can invest in right now. The second issue is science and technology, and of course UK technologies for the mining industry actively support the full cycle from exploration to processing to mine closure here already in Kazakhstan, with innovative advancements in automation, in robotics and digitalisation to improve efficiency, safety and environmental sustainability. But of course processing rare earths requires a lot of chemistry, a very different kind of processing. And I saw that for myself last week when I was in Kazakhstan visiting ferroalloy resources, which has the license for one of the largest vanadium deposits in the world. A really incredibly complex technical process required to process the vanadium ore. We have a world-class science base, of course, working on this next generation of mining technologies. And last month we took a delegation from across the region, not just Kazakhstan, also Mongolia, Uzbekistan, Pakistan, Turkey, to the UK, meeting leading UK companies and institutions in that critical minerals sector, like TechNet, Cornell Geothermal Engineering, the Institute of Materials Processing, Alloyed, and many others. These technologies can also help extract value from waste and help manage the problem of decommissioning old mines, another really important area. And the third thing, the area that I'll finish on, is education. As we know, there's a global skill shortage in the mining sector, and we all need to be growing the next generation of geologists and engineers and scientists who will design, build and run these 21st century mines. The UK and Kazakhstan have had education collaboration as a key pillar of their partnership for the last 30 years, with a beneficiary of around a third to a half of all Bolshak scholars. And I really want, as a personal priority, to develop deeper collaborations now in the mining sector on mining education, on curriculum, on student exchange and scientific collaboration. Strong partnerships already exist. For example, between the University of Cambridge's Cavendish Laboratory and the Kazakh British Technical University, but we really want to do more. And for the Campbell School of Mines graduates and Indians, I know there are a few, I'm really keen to bring Campbell to Kazakhstan as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, we feel very confident about the future in this critical sector. Thank you for your attention today, and I wish you a successful conference. Sizlerden huzurlarınızda aldığınız Jenny Sister'e konferansı niteliğim.